Okay, welcome back to part 2 of our discussion on focal lengths. To start with, kind of look at this as a deeper dive into our previous video on if I only had one camera and one lens, what would I go with? So here we go. Okay, gang, so if you tuned into our last video, you heard me talk about why I think the 28mm is the perfect focal length to start with. Now, the next focal length I'd want to introduce is a little bit of an oddball, the 40mm. It hasn't always been popular, but recently camera manufacturers are giving it a little bit more attention. To me, the 40mm is like the Goldilocks focal length, not so tight as a 50 and not as wide as a 28. Kind of sits perfectly in the middle. Now, what's interesting is that the human eye perceives roughly a 42.5mm lens equivalent. Of course, our eyes have a wider field of view thanks to peripheral vision, but the scale and depth of field are akin to what a 40mm lens offers. So when you put a 40mm lens on a camera and look through the viewfinder, the subject will appear almost exactly as it does to your naked eye. Of course, there's a lot of technical discussion about depth of field and field of view, and I'm no scientist, but from a simple anecdotal standpoint, when you use a 40mm lens, the scene you capture looks very close to what you see with your own eyes in real life. Historically, the 40mm lens hasn't been very popular because older cameras primarily focused on 35 and 50mm focal lengths. Using a 40mm lens meant that you had to carefully frame and compose your shot without dedicated frame lens like on rangefinders. But back in the day, Leica co-produced a compact rangefinder camera called the Leica CL. It collaborated with Minolta and it actually accepted a 40mm lens. This lens has gained a lot of popularity for being budget-friendly and very compact. Nowadays, modern technology has eliminated the limitations of frame lines and rangefinder patches. With live view and digital displays, we can frame any focal length accurately. This resurgence of interest in the 40mm is evident in recent releases. For example, Leica introduced the Q3 with the 43mm lens. It's a brilliant move, honestly, and it provides a natural, undistorted perspective. I remember there's always been discussions of, hey, we have a 28mm Q, now we need a 50, and Leica just kind of shattered all that and came out with a 43mm lens. Brilliant. Other manufacturers nowadays are also embracing the 40mm focal length. For example, Hasselblad's XCD medium format system has a 55mm lens, which translates to about a 40mm equivalent in full frame. In the APS-C world, Ricoh GRIIIX is a 40mm equivalent, and Fujifilm offers this amazing 27mm pancake lens that's really close to 40mm full frame. Pretty much every other camera manufacturer has a 40mm lens out there now. Nikon's 40mm SC brings this kind of retro styling to their ZF camera, and really it fits all their other Nikon Z-mount cameras. And TT Artisan's actually come out with their own 40mm f2 lens to compete with that lens specifically, and also brings that retro flair onto Nikon Z-mount cameras. Even companies like Canon has jumped in and made a 45mm f1.2 lens that is a counterpart to their 50mm f1.2. Third-party lens companies like Sigma and Voigtlander have come out with amazing 40mm options. Sigma came out with their 45mm DGDN lens, which is kind of a staple in their line for a compact everyday shooter. In fact, one of the first lenses I ever got for the Leica M system when I was getting into that was the Voigtlander 40mm f1.4 lens. Not only was it a budget-friendly lens for someone just starting out, but it rendered beautifully, and it really helped me see the world as I saw it because the focal length was so similar to what our human eyes would see anyway. In essence, these camera and lens manufacturers are embracing the 40mm as a very versatile everyday focal length. It's compact and perfectly balanced for street photography and for everyday use. There's just something about how 40mm renders. The depth of field isn't so shallow where the background is completely blown out, and it's not so deep to where you see every single detail. I think when you're starting out photography, it's really important to be able to essentially execute on what you're visualizing. And a 40mm lens does just that. What you see is what you get when you actually snap the shutter. 40mm is kind of that sweet spot right in the middle. And I just love the fact that it's just a little bit left of center. It's not a 35, it's not a 50, it's this little quirky thing right in the middle. Okay, that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you listening to this discussion on focal lengths. Hey, like, share, and subscribe to this video if this was helpful or entertaining to you. Drop us some comments below. We love reading them. We love responding to them as quickly as we can get them. And we really appreciate all the feedback we get from you guys. It really helps our channel create some great content for what you guys want to see out there. As always, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.